messenger of God. So you have to believe everything Muhammad says in Islam. That's what the confession of the faith says. It doesn't just say like Judaism. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord, our God, the Lord is one, affirming the oneness of God, whether you believe that or not is I'm not getting into here. It goes on, Islam, to say Muhammad is the only true path, and Muhammad is the Rasul. Judaism doesn't go beyond the first step. So he thinks Judaism is admirable. It doesn't say you shall believe. It only says you shall do. I agree with it. It's works-oriented. And I've always said that Jamesian Christianity is works-oriented. That's my whole point about the difference of Pauline Christianity and Jamesian Christianity. That is, show me your, as the James letter says to the Paul-type character, show me your works, I'm not interested in your faith and your belief. Show me your works. I'll get you in. Chuck Colson, the dirty tricks guy from Nixon, he can get Christ. And let's see your works. Your belief doesn't really impress me. Deathbed conversion, anything like that, like Constantine, I don't consider that valid. And that's what he's saying. Show me what you do. And I think that's, I've seen in the work I've done on the scrolls, that's a really important aspect of the issue. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about that miracles were never performed to...
I didn't say, he said it.
Right. When you're reading from this, that the miracles weren't done in order to show a truth or something, yet aren't there incidents in the Old Testament where, like Moses performing, giving this
absolutely
the sign before Pharaoh, or Elijah with priestess?
Yeah, he's stretching it. Yeah, he's stretching it. He's stretching it. But you see, he's basically saying what most Jews think. I mean, he's not saying all Jews think this way. He's saying for him, he's saying miracles, extraordinary signs, are not proofs of eternal presence. Even if Moses did do these ridiculous things like throw a stick down and turn into a snake and things like that, these what I would and a lot of other modern-minded people would consider superstitious mixed in with other parts of the religious presentation, and Elijah doing supernatural things, etc., and Jesus and so on, and all the others who are supposed to do supernatural things like walk on waters or exercise evil spirits, if there is such a thing as an evil spirit. I'm not even sure there is. But anyway, the point being, he's saying in Christianity, and I'm not saying that he's right here, you have to decide, that's supposed to prove something. That Jesus is the Son of God, and that you're supposed to, therefore, if you are faith in him, you're saved, and so on. That's supposed to prove something. In Judaism, Moses sticking his hand into his shirt and pulling it out again, what is it supposed to prove? It doesn't have any, there's nothing there that it proves.
Well, like in the case of Elijah specifically, where...
What's the Elijah miracle you're talking
about? Where he...
resurrects people.
No, actually I was talking about the one where he goes before the same, I think it was the priests and priestesses of Baal, and... Eats up their god or whatever?
No,
they were both to set out a sacrifice, and whoever's God would light up the fire was the true God, so to speak, and they'd go and the Baal's would try to call up the God, and it doesn't work, and Elijah has the whole thing soaked down for his sacrifice, and the fire comes down from heaven and burns up the whole thing.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I do think Elijah is the prototype for Jesus in the scripture. Both are supposed to be doing the same kinds of things. Whatever you believe, Jesus or not, or Elijah or not, I do think one character is not possible without the presentation of the other. But I do think these are literary aspects. These are not historical truths in terms of what Mendelssohn is saying. And I don't think Mendelssohn would think that was an important aspect of Judaism. In Christianity, he's saying it's a central aspect. Elijah's just one of numerous heroes in Judaism, maybe one of 50 or 60 you can mention, and it's just one of the folk stories that was retained about him. And I don't think most Jews would put any particular credence or importance to it. Forgive me for saying that. It is, I think, though, it is a prototype for the gospel presentation of Jesus. Most of the miracles Elijah does are more or less the kind of miracles Jesus does, and then Jesus goes on and does quite a few more. But Elijah is the one who first resurrects people from the dead and does that kind of stuff. In Judaism, again, you call Jews dull-witted or whatever. I don't think it impresses Jews except very highly religious ones. Most average Jews you'll meet, and again, I don't know how many in the class here are Jewish, but they can support me in saying this. Most average Jews you'll meet are not terribly excited about that aspect of Judaism. I mean, the fact that Moses' stick turned into a snake more excites Cecil B. DeMille, or the fact of the parting of the Red Sea. People like Cecil B. DeMille love that stuff, but I don't think most Jews really are terribly excited about it. That's my honest opinion. I think Jews really like, and Christians too, the prophets, the written prophets, Isaiah, Ezekiel, Amos, Hosea. I think that's the real bedrock of exciting Judaism. The story, the folk stories, you know, that's just to encourage people more. Anyway, you're right, it's there, and he makes light of it because he wants to argue for acceptance. We're not a threat. As this, who was saying that here? Someone capsulized that here a moment ago. It was you, wasn't it? One of you. That what he's trying to do is
It's Trevor.
Who was it?
Trevor in the back.
Okay, Trevor, it's you.
Yeah, you got to say it.
It's you, it's you. Okay, so let's go on here. Let's see. Although the divine books which we see through Moses is essentially a book of laws, it also includes some rational truth, or religious precepts. So he keeps on going forward and back here and so on. Anyway, all these excellent notions address themselves not to our ability to believe, but to our capacity to understand and reflect. That's what he says. Now, you may not disagree. Maybe Judaism doesn't do that. His Judaism does. Among the precepts and ordinances of the Mosaic Law, there is none saying you shall believe, you shall not believe. It only says do or don't do. So it's legislation, it's an act, it's a social thing. It is not, you see, there it is. We don't have any instruction in the Mosaic legislation that you should believe such and such or not believe. I'm not sure he's right there, but I think most Jews in the way they practice their faith, modern Jews, would agree with it. I'm not sure Orthodox Jews would agree with that. I'm sure if you went to the Chabad up here in Long Beach, they'd find something to argue with him here about. They wouldn't accept what he was saying. So all the commandments of the divine law are addressed to your will. That is, and he goes on in some very famous examples.